Grok's analysis, against arguments to tariffs and their counterarguments. Against argument 1, tariffs raise the price of imported goods, directly hitting American households with higher costs for everyday items like electronics, clothing, and appliances. Counterargument 1, higher consumer prices are a short-term trade-off for long-term economic independence. Domestic production can eventually stabilize costs as industries grow. Against argument 2, retaliatory tariffs from countries like China and the EU target American industries, example agriculture, soybeans, whiskey, slashing export markets and costing jobs in those sectors. Counterargument 2, retaliation is temporary. Countries reliant on U.S. markets, example China buying soybeans, often return due to necessity, and new trade deals can offset losses. Against argument 3, higher costs for imported raw materials, example steel, aluminum, increase production expenses for U.S. manufacturers, making their goods less competitive globally. Counterargument 3, initial disruptions force innovation and self-reliance, reducing dependence on unstable foreign suppliers and strengthening U.S. industrial resilience. Against argument 4, protecting domestic industries through tariffs props up less competitive firms, diverting capital and labor from more innovative, productive sectors of the economy. Counterargument 4, supporting key industries ensures strategic capacity, example steel for infrastructure, prioritizing national interest over pure economic efficiency. Against argument 5, studies, example from the Tax Foundation, show tariffs create far fewer jobs than promised, often offset by losses elsewhere, with negligible net employment impact. Counterargument 5, job creation stats overlook indirect benefits like revitalized factory towns or the preservation of existing jobs that would vanish without protection. Against argument 6, imposing tariffs on allies like Canada and the EU weakens diplomatic and economic ties, reducing U.S. leverage in broader geopolitical negotiations. Counterargument 6, tariffs signal strength, pressuring allies to negotiate better terms, example USMCA revisions, ultimately enhancing U.S. leverage rather than weakening it. Against argument 7, tariffs worsen economic strain during a national emergency by raising costs of essential imports, example medical supplies, food. Counterargument 7, in a national emergency, tariffs protect domestic producers of critical goods, ensuring supply stability when foreign sources falter. Against argument 8, retaliatory tariffs from other nations limit access to emergency resources, like raw materials or aid, during a crisis. Counterargument 8, retaliation forces self-sufficiency, reducing reliance on unreliable foreign partners, which is vital in emergencies. Against argument 9, disrupted supply chains from tariffs delay emergency responses, such as delivering equipment or rebuilding infrastructure. Counterargument 9, tariffs incentivize local production, shortening supply chains over time and enhancing emergency readiness. Against argument 10, revenue from tariffs is insufficient to fund emergency measures compared to the economic damage they cause. Counterargument 10, tariff revenue provides a direct funding stream for emergency needs, example defense, healthcare, offsetting short-term costs. Against argument 11, tariffs alienate allies needed for coordinated emergency responses, like disaster relief or security pacts. Counterargument 11, tariffs pressure allies to prioritize U.S. interests in emergencies, strengthening strategic partnerships long-term.